Oh, whey.
Hi, I'm Gramps Grubberfly, and welcome to a beginner-friendly guide featuring everyone's favorite Bing Bong boy, the Wraith. The Wraith is possibly the best choice for new players or players new to the killer role. First off, he comes with the base game. Additionally, his power is simplistic and easy to understand, allowing players to focus more on the core concepts of the killer role rather than the best way to use their power. This being said, the Wraith is not the strongest killer in the game. He lacks the map control or chase ending ability inherent to his power that some other killers have. He also can only injure players with basic attacks. This fact makes him weaker than killers that have these traits, such as Nurse, Spirit, or Huntress, but also plays into the simplistic nature that makes him a great killer for new players. Furthermore, once you feel comfortable enough with the killer role to graduate to more advanced or powerful killers, the lessons you learned about map control, pressure, mind games, and chases will carry over, and because you play with good fundamentals, will cause you to feel more powerful and like you have a greater control over the game. The Wraith's power is the Wailing Bell. He begins every game in his cloak with the undetectable status effect, giving him no terror radius, also known as a heartbeat or red stain, which is the little red light that comes out of your face. Whenever in his cloak, the Wraith maintains the undetectable status effect and is invisible to survivors. He can ring his bell to become visible and give himself a short, decaying movement speed buff. Both cloaking and uncloaking cause you to be slowed for a short time while the Wraith rings his bell and either enters or leaves his cloak. While cloaked, the Wraith cannot interact with survivors, and in return has slightly increased movement speed. He can also vault windows, kick gens, kick pallets, and kick breakable walls, but once again, cannot hit and damage survivors and must uncloak to do so. While cloaked, the Wraith is completely invisible from a distance and while standing still. When getting close to survivors in cloak, you'll have a slight shimmer that more experienced survivors will be able to see and spot you. The Wraith also constantly emits like this weird growl or raspy breath sound that survivors will be able to hear when you get close enough to them. And if they are good enough and know what they're doing, they will use that sound to know where you are and avoid you. The Wraith also maintains collision when he's cloaked, and can use that fact along with his increased movement speed to body block survivors into corners, or more realistically body block windows or pallets, making them unusable from whatever side that he's blocking them from until you move. I think that covers the basics of the Wraith and his power, so let's get into the build we'll be using. Alright, so let's get into the build a little bit. So, for the purposes of keeping this guide beginner friendly, I'm only going to be using Wraith's teachable perks alongside non-teachable or base perks. Additionally, I'm only going to be using yellow or brown add-ons. This should just make sure that anybody that finds this guide should have access to the perks and add-ons that I use. So let's just explain what everything does. So, Sloppy Butcher slows down the healing of survivors by 20%, also makes them bleed more often. Just a decent slowdown perk. It's also just a base perk, so should be available to everybody. Bloodhound is a Wraith teachable perk, so the tier 1 of it will be available as soon as you get the character. And what it does is make blood much brighter and easier to see, also makes it able to be tracked for longer, so it just stays on the ground longer. This combos well with Sloppy Butcher. Survivors bleed more often, and now their blood is easier to see and can be tracked for longer. Just good for finding injured survivors. Wraith's good at injuring survivors, so just a good combo for him. Next, we're actually going to skip over Bitter Murmur and go to Whispers. So Whispers lights up and gives you an audio cue whenever there's a survivor within 32 meters of you. This is good for both the early, mid, and late game, just good all around. Allows you to find survivors in the early game, not kind of wander around aimlessly. In the mid game, if people are trying to be stealthy, makes it easier to find them. And then in the late game, when you're trying to find people at doors or after you've closed the hatch, if they're trying to immerse around, you can find them more easily. Lastly, we have Bitter Murmur. What Bitter Murmur does is whenever a generator is repaired, any survivor within 16 meters of that gen, their aura will be revealed for 5 seconds. And then when the last generator is completed, every survivor's aura is revealed for 10 seconds. This is pretty good because generators will be done in every game. Unless you're just absolutely destroying the survivors and they're not able to get any gens done, gens are gonna get done. And this will just give you some value and allow you to track survivors a little bit more easily. Now going with the add-ons. I think Wraith's best add-on is Windstorm. I think that's pretty universal. Most people would agree. What it does is it increases your movement speed while cloaked, and this helps with giving you a little bit of map pressure and presence, letting you be around the map, or get around the map a little bit easier. It also gives you a slight decrease to your movement speed when uncloaking, but in a patch on the PTB around when this is recorded, they actually are increasing Wraith's base movement speed when cloaked without add-ons, and adding that movement speed decrease while uncloaking to his base, taking it away from Windstorm, and then nerfing Windstorm's movement speed increase a little bit. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think Windstorm will still be a fantastic add-on even after those changes. And then lastly, we have your second add-on, which you kind of have two options for. This slightly reduces your reappearance time, so that movement speed debuff that you're getting while uncloaking is going to be cut, as well as you able to uncloak a little bit faster and hit survivors, making those first hits that much easier to get. If you don't want to use Swift Hunt, you have another option in Bone Clapper. This makes the sound of your bell omnidirectional. So it goes over the entire map and does not have a direction to it, so makes it harder for survivors to track you. You can also condition them by ringing your bell a bunch so that they won't immediately start running whenever they hear the bell. And those are your two options. So I'm going to be using the Swift Hunt for reappearance time. And yeah, I think that's about it. So let's get into the game. Alright, so we're on Ormond, which is one of the most survivor-sided maps, but we'll still see what we can do. So one of the most important things about killer is you want to find people early. You want to find people quickly because you want to be efficient with your time. Time management is one of the most important things you can do. And one of the safe things you can do, a lot of the time, people want to do the middle gens, so you want to check those. And then other than that, you want to go to like the furthest gen and check those out. And then once you find people, you want to get hits and downs very quickly. I don't think he's going to go anywhere super strong, so I'm going to chase him. There were multiple people around. I could have tried to get multiple injures, but this pallet sucks. So we just get the down. We also get the pallet. We'll just go ahead and kick it. I didn't see any flashlights in the lobby, so we just go ahead and grab him. And we get an early down and an early hook, which is really good for us. We're going to walk in this general direction. I imagine someone's probably back on this. They are not. Okay, so we'll just slap them up on a hook. We're going to cloak ourselves so that we get more movement speed, and we're just going to look around. I could check lockers, but that doesn't seem very relevant. I don't see anybody over here. I'm just going to go ahead and kick this. Oh, never mind. We see this person right here. We're just going to uncloak. She's probably going to go for this pallet, which is fine. We run at her to fake it. She drops the pallet. We get her to vault it. That's great. We get a free injure. Someone unhooked. Can look over there. Yeah, let's chase over here. This pallet's gone. She's going to try to body block for him because she thinks I want a tunnel. I don't want a tunnel. But we'll just chase her. Looks like we'll get a free hit. She's not even going to take the window, so we're good. If she goes for this pallet, we're fine. This pallet also sucks. Go ahead and vault that for me. Thank you very much. She's going to, like, get stuck and then revault the pallet. She goes basically nowhere, so we're going to get another free down here. Even if she goes for this pallet, oh, she's not. She's just going to hold W. She might have Dead Hard. Let's wait for it. She does have Dead Hard, but we waited long enough that we just swing through it. We lose one gen. That should be okay. Pick her up, and we get her on a hook. We've got 2 hooks for 1 gen. That's pretty decent. It's okay, especially on Ormond, where it's so large. Alright. So now the gen popped over this way. Also, we've been pressuring people over here, so we want to look in this general direction. We're going to kick this pallet, get it out of the way. It's not that strong, but it's just a good practice to kind of get them out of the way when you can. Kind of look back at the hook. We don't see anybody over there, so we're just going to keep looking. We have whispers on now, so we're going to look for the person on whispers. We see scratch marks. Okay, we see 2 people over here, so we're just going to chase behind them. They're not really looking behind them. Cheryl just saw me. She's going to drop this pallet. We're going to get a free hit. Nice, nice. See the Dwight over there. And right now we're pressuring all 4 survivors, it looks like. Just go ahead and hit the Dwight. We're good, we're good. Right here, I'm going to go for the Dwight. Where did he go? Wait, he's right here? Okay. Well, if he wants to play this pallet, that's fine with me. He doesn't want to. He's going to go to the next one, which is also fine. Well, he has sort of a brain, although this person does not. So we'll just hit her, and we'll leave her on the ground for a second because we have so much pressure. Leave her on the ground, and then go for this Dwight. Alright, now we've got 2 slugs. Now, the correct play is probably right now to slug and look for somebody else. That doesn't seem like a great idea to me. I'm just going to pick up the Cheryl, slap her on a hook, and then when somebody comes over to try to pick him up, we can slap them as well. There's no way she's going to be able to get him up in time. He just hit the ground. So we'll grab him, and then we're not going to get this hit. Yep, no, we're going to fail. But right now we have 1 person on the hook, 1 person on the grounds. So, oh, hello. We have a lot of pressure, so we can get this hit, immediately turn around. We see this person right here. Look to hit her as well. And now we've got everybody injured. We've got 1 person on the ground, 1 person on the hook. This is a lot of pressure that we're looking at right now. And they're eventually going to have to do something. I mean, I'm in a really good spot right now. I can just kick this. And we see this person right here. She's going to try to get him up. She's going to get him up, but we can just... Ooh, I thought we could immediately down him again, but we missed. It's all good. We'll just down him again, and then we can hook him. Down him again. They're going to go for the unhook now. Do I have enough? Yeah, I might have enough time to go and pressure them over here. We see the Cheryl right there. We're not interested in her because she was just on the hook. We're going to go for this person over here. Down them, probably put them on a hook, and then we can go for the slug. And what we're learning here is that you want to pressure as many survivors as possible at the same time. You see we're still at 4 gens. We've gotten multiple downs. I could go back and pick up the Dwight, but they're probably going to get him up before I get down there. So we're just going to go ahead and hook her. We'll go ahead. Yep, they got him up, so we'll go ahead and cloak, and we'll run over to that general direction. And they're going to have to come over here and unhook her at some point. We just look for blood. We look for scratch marks, try to find where they went. But we don't see anybody, so we're kind of going to go back around to the hook. Still see nobody. Okay. We're just looking around, trying to find people. Oh, here we go. We found some people. And we heard this person going over here, and I'm going to pressure her because she's going over towards the hook. And the idea behind pressuring her is now she's going to have to use resources around the hooked person, as well as she's going to keep the hooked person pressured. So we can go away from the hook now. They're going to get the unhook, but we pressured them off. And during all of this, they're not working on gens. And that's what I'm talking about pressure, is because I'm pressuring them so well, they're not able to work on gens. She's going to drop this. She's not going to drop it. She's going to vault. And get a free hit. What you see there is me using my red light. So wherever you're looking, you have this red light that kind of comes out of your face. They actually let her die, which is very unfortunate for her. And you can use that red light. People are going to think that's the way you're coming from, and then you can moonwalk. And because of the amount of pressure we had, and we see they did that. Okay, can I pick this person up, please? There we go. Interesting. But because we had all that pressure, that person died because she was not able to unhook them because we were right there. And then she was looping us around the hook. So because we pressure her off there, that person dies. We get another hook. They're going to go and try to unhook her. We can let that happen. Although we're right here, so we can just come and stop this Dwight. You know what? Just commit to it? He did not. But once again, he's going to loop around the hook. And this is something that you really want, right? Because if they're looping around the hook, that just creates more pressure for you. We get another free injure. And we'll chase him away. Like, if he wants to... Okay, well, he's just going to go down. And we could slug here. We don't need to. We're going to pick him up. We're going to put him on a hook. I don't think he's dead. I think he's on second hook. But we can just go ahead and slap him up on a hook. And we've essentially won this game. Once you have one person dead... if you're at 3 gens or above, you've pretty much won. And this is kind of what you have to do, you know? You have to split your pressure. You have to be mindful of what all the survivors are doing, you know? Keep track of them. Make sure that you are pressuring as many survivors as you can at one time. And now, once you're at this point in the game, you can really relax. You don't have to try quite as hard. And right here, I can just body block this pallet. She's forced to pick a side. And, I mean, we can just bloodlust her around this for a while, and she can go ahead and drop that. Yep. And she vaults it. She's going to vault it again. We get a free hit. And that's kind of also something that you'll learn, is that a lot of survivors will just panic if you just kind of take a good angle. Be mindful that they're probably going to vault the pallet multiple times, and just time it so that you can hit them once they've vaulted the pallet. And we've gotten rid of a lot of resources. We've pressured them really well. It's at the point where we've pretty much won. And we can kind of be lax. The only thing that I would be mindful of at this point is I think the Cheryl had a key. So I don't really want to get her unhooked for free, and I don't want them to be able to all get out via the hatch. That would be a problem. We don't want that happening. But short of that, we should be fine. This Dwight's dead on hook, so we kind of want to kill him. I don't believe I've seen him use... I don't believe I have seen him use Dead Hard all game, so we can just go ahead and chase him. He's got a pallet here that he's not going to use. Does he have balanced landing? He does have balanced landing. Interesting. I still think he should have used the pallet first, but maybe he's going to wrap around back to it, which is smart on his part, actually. Oh, but he didn't go to the pallet. He went to the other side. It's all right. Now, the only problem here being that if we kill him off, the hatch actually will not spawn. They need to do one more gen for the hatch to spawn. So he is now dead. Fantastic. We're down to 2 survivors. We really want to kill off the Cheryl. That's the one that we want to kill off. And I know she was just on the hook, but the reason we want to kill her off is because she has the key, and we want to get rid of the key. And the key will drop on the ground, but the other survivor will have to run, get the key off the ground, and then find the hatch if they want to use it. So we have whispers over here, which means they're probably on this gen. And they are. Wonderful. And now we can chase the Cheryl for as long as we need to. We don't need to worry too much about pressure. We can just chase her for as long as we need to and then kill her off. We're going to moonwalk here so we don't show our red light. Looks like she was paying enough attention to see that, which is fine. She's going to run around. She's not going to take the window, which is interesting. Here she'll take the window, and because we moonwalked it there, we mind game it with our red light, we get the free hit. Now we can cloak up and catch up to her based on her speed burst from getting hit. We'll just run after her, and she can go to whatever pallet she wants. She can do whatever she wants. We'll just chase her until she dies. And we'll just uncloak right here. And the idea was that if she decided to force that window more than once, that we would just be able to... Alright, now the problem now is that the hatch has now spawned. So we need to make sure that we kill this Cheryl before she finds the hatch. Because if she finds the hatch, she'll be able to open it with the key and get herself out of the game. And we want to make sure that does not happen. So we're just going to chase her down, try to kill her off before she's able to open the hatch with her key. Oh, see the other person right there, which is actually fantastic. So then when we get this person downed, she's going to try to body block, maybe? Okay, she's just running. And again, we just need to get to her. The other survivor does not mean anything to us right now. We need to get to her before she finds the hatch. Because if she gets to the hatch, she opens it, they both get out. And that's the kind of the game we're playing right now. Is trying to get to her before she finds the hatch. It looks like we've done it. And now we can also just get this person. And then that's the easy 4K. And she can play this pallet if she wants to. It's a shit pallet. She vaults it. Easy hit. She vaults it again. You know what? I'm going to go back and get my slug in case she has Unbreakable. That's kind of my fear right now, is that she has Unbreakable, and we'll go find the hatch. So we have her on 1 health. We just want to get this person in case she has Unbreakable. Get her, throw her up on a hook, and then go and get the last person. And we will have won the game. You don't always have to play this sweaty, you know, and try this hard, but I really wanted to kind of showcase the... Oh. Well, I have found the hatch, which is wonderful. Now what we need to do is, A, make sure that they don't pick up this key. Which I don't see? Did they already pick up the key? That would be insane if they already picked up the key. We have whispers of her. Oh, she's right here. How did I not see her? I was too busy looking for the key, but I think she just dies here. Even if she gets it open, she's just dead. And even with us trolling a little bit at the end, just looking for the key and not finding it, we get her as she opens the gate. If she had Dead Hard, she would have gotten out. But it seems like she didn't have Dead Hard, so we'll just go ahead, throw her up on a hook, and bing, bang, boom. That's an easy 4K. And that's kind of how you play Wraith. Even on one of the most survivor-sided maps in the game, if you just play to the tenets of playing Killer well, time management, resource management, and making sure that you're paying attention to how much pressure you're exerting, you know? It can be tempting to just pick up down survivors and immediately put them on hooks, but that's not always the correct play. So now I'm gonna go and explain some of the builds that you can do once you have some extra perks, and I'll see you there. I want to go over some tips and tricks, some advice that maybe I didn't cover in the guide. Number one, if you are stunned by a pallet when you are cloaked as the Wraith, the stun is extended and will force you to uncloak. So you want to avoid that when you can. Next, if a survivor has a flashlight and you are cloaked, they can aim the flashlight at your body and burn you, which will bring you out of your cloak and stun you. So you can avoid that by hiding behind objects or coming from an unexpected angle. Just avoid that whenever possible. Next, if you're chasing an injured survivor and you know or think they have Dead Hard, which a lot of the times they will, you can fake going into your cloak, which actually looks a lot like you are swinging your weapon and will a lot of the times bait out the Dead Hard, so you can get an easy hit. Lastly, if you know where a survivor is, before you uncloak, if you can hide behind a wall, this will obscure where you're coming from. They'll have to take an extra second to see where you are, and that can give you an easy hit. I would also recommend looking away from the survivor in case they have spine chill. This is even better if you have the coxcomb clapper or if you have the bone clapper. Both of these make it harder to discern where you're coming from and can get you hits even easier. And let's talk about how you can improve this build as you gain access to more perks and stuff like that. Windstorm is great. All of them are really good. I would recommend using them, if not every game. Whenever you really want to try hard and get a win, Windstorm is just fantastic. Swift Hunt is also really good. The Bone Clapper and the Coxcombed Clapper are both really good. I'm very partial to All-Seeing Blood. I very much like it. Try it out on your own and see how it feels for you. I think it feels awesome. I would also recommend trying out Shadow Dance. It's not quite as powerful as some of your other options, but it is very fun to kick things very, very fast. So try it out, see if you enjoy it. And for the perks, you can keep Sloppy Butcher up to the highest rank. The first things I would replace would be Bloodhound and Bitter Murmur. Whispers and Sloppy Butcher are good pretty much all the time. Nothing wrong with them. Bloodhound and Bitter Murmur are not very powerful in and of themselves, and once you've played with this build for a while, you will probably find that gens are going very quickly, and you probably want some extra slowdown perks. So for these, I would recommend maybe Pop Goes the Weasel, kick gens and regress them, and maybe Corrupt Intervention to stop survivors from hopping on a gen as soon as they spawn. I think this build right here is completely viable. It's going to serve you well in most of your matches. If you can, maybe replace Whispers with Barbecue and Chili. This is going to give you extra blood points and help you with tracking. And then if you really miss Whispers, you can replace Sloppy Butcher with Whispers and be fine. Past that, I would recommend just trying out different perks and trying out different builds and seeing what you like, what you don't like, what you think is fun, what feels strong to you. I'm partial to Nurse's Calling. Some people are really partial to Enduring Spirit Fury. I really like Discordance, lets you know where multiple survivors are and can help you jumpstart your map pressure. A big thanks to Morgan Michelle for helping me get some of these clips. I found her in Cope's channel and just commandeered her for these clips. Thank you a ton to her. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing, maybe leaving a comment telling me that you like it so that I can do more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.